Oh, ye esteemed ones who are pioneers among the well-wishers of the world of humanity. The letters which he sent during the war were not received, but a letter dated February 11th, 1916 has just come to hand, and immediately an answer is being written. Your intention deserves 1,000 praises because you are serving the world of humanity, and this is conducive to the happiness and welfare of all. This recent war has proved to the world and the people that war is destruction while universal peace is construction. War is death while peace is life. War is rapacity and bloodthirstiness while peace is beneficence and humaneness. War is an appurtenance of the world of nature while peace is of the foundation of the religion of God. War is darkness upon darkness while peace is heavenly light. War is the destroyer of the edifice of mankind while peace is the everlasting life of the world of humanity. War is like a devouring wolf while peace is like the angels of heaven. War is the struggle for existence while peace is mutual aid and cooperation among the peoples of the world and the cause of the good pleasure of the true one in the heavenly realm. There is not one soul whose conscience does not testify that in this day there is no more important matter in the world than that of universal peace. Every just one bears witness to this and adores that esteemed assembly because its aim is that this darkness may be changed into light, this bloodthirstiness into kindness, this torment into bliss, this hardship into ease, and this enmity and hatred into fellowship and love. Therefore, the effort of those esteemed souls is worthy of praise and commendation. But the wise souls who are aware of the essential relationships emanating from the realities of things consider that one single matter cannot by itself influence the human reality as it ought and should, for until the minds of men become united, no important matter can be accomplished. At present, universal peace is a matter of great importance, but unity of conscience is essential, so that the foundation of this matter may become secure, its establishment firm, and its edifice strong. Therefore, Baha'u'llah, 50 years ago, expounded this question of universal peace at a time when he was confined in the fortress of Akka and was wronged and imprisoned. He wrote about this important matter of universal peace to all the great sovereigns of the world and established it among his friends in the Orient. The horizon of the East was in utter darkness, nations displayed the utmost hatred and enmity towards each other, religions thirsted for each other's blood, and it was darkness upon darkness. At such a time, Baha'u'llah shone forth like the sun from the horizon of the East and illumined Persia with the lights of these teachings. Among his teachings was the declaration of universal peace. People of different nations, religions, and sects who followed him came together to such an extent that remarkable gatherings were instituted consisting of the various nations and religions of the East. Every soul who entered these gatherings saw but one nation, one teaching, one pathway, one order, for the teachings of Baha'u'llah were not limited to the establishment of universal peace. They embraced many teachings which supplemented and supported that of universal peace. Among these teachings was the independent investigation of reality, so that the world of humanity may be saved from the darkness of imitation and attain to the truth, may tear off and cast away this ragged and outgrown garment of 1,000 years ago, and may put on the robe woven in the utmost purity and holiness in the loom of reality. As reality is one and cannot admit of multiplicity, therefore different opinions must ultimately become fused into one. And among the teachings of Baha'u'llah is the oneness of the world of humanity, that all human beings are the sheep of God, and he is the kind shepherd. The shepherd is kind to all the sheep, because he created them all, trained them, provided for them, and protected them. There is no doubt that the shepherd is kind to all the sheep, and should there be among these sheep ignorant ones, they must be educated. If there be children, they must be trained until they reach maturity. If there be sick ones, they must be cured. There must be no hatred and enmity, for as by a kind physician, these ignorant sick ones should be treated. And among the teachings of Baha'u'llah is that religion must be the cause of fellowship and love. If it becomes the cause of estrangement, then it is not needed, for religion is like a remedy. If it aggravates the disease, then it becomes unnecessary. And among the teachings of Baha'u'llah is that religion must be in conformity with science and reason, so that it may influence the hearts of men. The foundation must be solid and must not consist of imitations. And among the teachings of Baha'u'llah is that religious, racial, political, economic, and patriotic prejudices destroy the edifice of humanity. As long as these prejudices prevail, the world of humanity will not have rest. For a period of 6,000 years, history informs us about the world of humanity. During these 6,000 years, the world of humanity has not been free from war, strife, murder, and bloodthirstiness. In every period, war has been waged in one country or another, and that war was due to either religious prejudice, racial prejudice, political prejudice, or patriotic prejudice. It has therefore been ascertained and proved that all prejudices are destructive of the human edifice. As long as these prejudices persist, the struggle for existence must remain dominant, and bloodthirstiness and rapacity continue. Therefore, even as was the case in the past, the world of humanity cannot be saved from the darkness of nature and cannot attain illumination except through the abandonment of prejudices and the acquisition of the morals of the kingdom. If this prejudice and enmity are on account of religion, consider that religion should be the cause of fellowship. Otherwise, it is fruitless. And if this prejudice be the prejudice of nationality, consider that all mankind are of one nation. All have sprung from the tree of Adam, and Adam is the root of the tree. The tree is one, and all these nations are like branches, while the individuals of humanity are like leaves, blossoms, and fruits thereof. Then, the establishment of various nations and the consequent shedding of blood and destruction of the edifice of humanity result from human ignorance and selfish motives. As to the patriotic prejudice, this is also due to absolute ignorance, for the surface of the earth is one native land. Everyone can live in any spot on the terrestrial globe. Therefore, all the world is man's birthplace. These boundaries and outlets have been devised by man. In the creation, such boundaries and outlets were not assigned. Europe is one continent, Asia is one continent, Africa is one continent, Australia is one continent, but some of the souls, from personal motives and selfish interests, have divided each one of these continents and considered a certain part as their own country. God has set up no frontier between France and Germany. They are continuous. Yet in the first centuries, selfish souls, for the promotion of their own interests, have assigned boundaries and outlets and have, day by day, attached more importance to these, until this led to intense enmity, bloodshed, and rapacity in subsequent centuries. In the same way, this will continue indefinitely, and if this conception of patriotism remains limited within a certain circle, it will be the primary cause of the world's destruction. No wise and just person will acknowledge these imaginary distinctions. Every limited area which we call our native country we regard as our motherland, whereas the terrestrial globe is the motherland of all, and not any restricted area. In short, for a few days we live on this earth, and eventually we are buried in it. It is our eternal tomb. Is it worthwhile that we should engage in bloodshed and tear one another to pieces for this eternal tomb? Nay, far from it. Neither is God pleased with such conduct, nor would any sane man approve of it.